And he goes abroad, he comes back, and they say you can't come to parliament till you apologize on fake notions of fake nationalism, pretended nationalism, artificial created nationalism. He goes into parliament and speaks on the day the Prime Minister speaks, and he's referred to Privileges Committee. Has it happened in all these decades of parliamentary democracy that parliamentarians who have an additional right of free speech beyond 19(1)(a) are intimidated in this way? See that larger perspective. Okay. He comes out, and for the first time in the history I've never seen, the ruling party says this parliament will not go on unless a prior condition preceded of him apologizing. So I think this has never happened, and this is nothing but another attempt in the chain. Now I want to tell you something interesting about the sequence of events in this proceeding which led to the conviction yesterday. The complaint is of 2019, and Rahul Gandhi goes.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Rahul Gandhi has been disqualified as a Member of Parliament by the Lok Sabha Secretariat today. For the first time since 2004, since he entered public life, Rahul Gandhi is not a Member of Parliament, and he stands to lose all the privileges that come with it, from a MP allotted bungalow to other perks and prerequisites that come with it. Now, the Congress is questioning the haste and the alacrity with which the Speaker's office moved to disqualify Mr Gandhi. The BJP says that none of this is political, it's a court order, and everyone has to follow the law of the land, including Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi, no longer a Member of Parliament, but will he be able to rally the opposition against Modi in 2024? And if he cannot overturn this verdict, then Rahul Gandhi does not get to stand for elections, not just for the next 2 years, but potentially for the next 8 years. That automatically means that it will not be a Rahul versus Modi contest for 2024. But will this prove to be a turning point in the road to 2024?
Rahul Gandhi is no longer a Member of Parliament. 24 hours after he was convicted by a Gujarat court for defaming Prime Minister Modi, he has been disqualified as an MP. Rahul Gandhi was sentenced to prison for 2 years, granted bail, and his sentence was suspended for 30 days so that he could appeal to a higher court. But according to the law, any MP convicted of a crime and sentenced to at least 2 years in jail stands to be disqualified immediately. Congress called it a conspiracy to silence Rahul Gandhi.
कई महीने से वो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा को बदनाम करने में लगी हुई थी, और मैं समझता हूं कि आज जो हमने देखा है, ये डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन, एक तरह से आप देख सकते हैं कि जैसा कि अभिषेक सिंघवी जी ने कहा, राहुल जी को कीमत चुकानी पड़ी।
The BJP hit back, accusing Rahul Gandhi of being anti-OBC.
वो सदा अपने आप को संसद से ऊपर, सदन से ऊपर, सरकारों से ऊपर, देश से ऊपर और न्याय व्यवस्था से ऊपर समझते हैं। ये असंसदीय उनका आचरण पहले भी रहा है।
Rahul Gandhi's disqualification triggered some unexpected support from an otherwise fractured opposition.
The lowest since 1950. Terrible. The lowest in parliamentary democracy, in the history of parliamentary democracy. BJP. How low can you go, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah?
जब से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार उत्तर प्रदेश में आई है, उन्होंने प्रशासन और सरकार का साथ लेकर के पहले तो झूठे मुकदमे लगवाए, और कई ऐसे मौके आए हैं जहां पर प्रशासन ने और शासन ने मिलकर के समाजवादी पार्टी के कई सदस्यों की सदस्यता ली है।
Unless his conviction is overturned, Rahul Gandhi won't be able to contest elections for the next 8 years. That's because the person is disqualified for the period of imprisonment, in this case 2 years, plus a further 6 years. So will Rahul Gandhi's disqualification be a turning point for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections?
So now that he's been disqualified as a Member of Parliament, we'll get to that in 1 second, but I believe we're getting the first reaction from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra after this emergency meeting of the Congress party that happened at the AICC headquarters. Let's listen in.
सुबह से शाम तक वो मेरे परिवार के बारे में, राहुल जी के बारे में, मेरे पिताजी के बारे में, मेरी माता जी के बारे में, इंदिरा जी के बारे में और पंडित जी नेहरू जी के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ जानता है, पूरा देश देखा है। उनके खिलाफ किसी जज ने किसी 2 साल का सेंटेंस नहीं दिया, उनको डिस्क्वालीफाई नहीं किया। और मेरे भाई ने क्या किया? अदानी का मुद्दा उठाया। मेरे भाई ने अदानी का मुद्दा उठाया, सवाल पूछे संसद में, इसीलिए ये सब हुआ। जो केस, जिस केस का स्टे कंप्लेनेंट ने खुद मांगा था, 1 साल से स्टे था, अडानी पे जो भाषण दिया मेरे भाई ने, उसके बाद अचानक उस कंप्लेनेंट ने उस केस को जिंदा क्यों किया? ये सरकार अडानी पे जवाब देना नहीं चाहती, डरती है इन सवालों से, इसीलिए ये पूरी प्लानिंग के तहत किया गया है ताकि राहुल जी संसद से निकल जाए। देखिए, मैंने कहा है कांग्रेस लड़ेगी, राहुल जी लड़ेंगे, हम सब लड़ेंगे। ये हमारे रगों में जो खून दौड़ता है ना, ये शहीदों का खून है। सुन लीजिए, जिस खून को आप बार बार परिवारवादी कहते हैं, बार बार आप आलोचना करते हैं, बार बार आप शब्द इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ये खून बहा है इस देश के लिए, ये पीछे हटेगा नहीं। हम डरते नहीं है, हम लड़ते रहेंगे और हम खड़े रहेंगे। ये कुछ भी करना चाहे करें, कोई बात नहीं, करने दीजिए।
Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, first comments after the emergency meeting of the Congress party that happened at the AICC headquarters. But what exactly happens now to Rahul Gandhi now that he's been disqualified as a member of parliament? He loses, or at least stands to lose, his official MP quarters, or the MP bungalow as it were, in Tughlaq Lane in Delhi. He will also lose other perks enjoyed by a member of parliament. There's free water supply, free electricity, all of which Mr Gandhi will now not be eligible for. He will also no longer be eligible for free air travel, up to 30 air tickets from Air India that is eligible to a member of parliament every year, and his monthly internet allowance will go as well. So what then are Rahul Gandhi's next legal options? He has to get a stay on this conviction. That has to be from an appellate court. In this case, it will be a sessions court that will have to give a stay on his conviction. He can also approach the president directly to challenge his disqualification as a member of parliament under Article 103 of the Constitution. The president's decision on disqualification is final, and she can consult the Election Commission and decide. Rahul Gandhi can also move the Supreme Court under a special leave petition under Article 32. He can also seek refuge under Article 32 of the Constitution, which gives an individual the right to move the Supreme Court if he or she feels that their rights have been unduly deprived. But hours after Rahul Gandhi's disqualification, the Congress got into this emergency huddle at the AICC headquarters. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, they were all part of the meeting. Rahul Gandhi stayed away from that particular meeting, but after the meeting, the party declared Rahul Gandhi's disqualification was deliberate, and they will hold a Delhi Chalo rally next week to take their message to the nation. With many opposition leaders expressing their support for Rahul Gandhi, Congress is hoping that once again it can become the fulcrum of the opposition. Let me now open this up to our panelists. Shehzad Poonawala, BJP National Spokesperson here in our studios. Dr. Ajay Kumar is spokesperson of the Congress Party. Riju Datta, TMC spokesperson. Aman Lekhi is senior advocate with the Supreme Court. Smita Prakash is editor of ANI. Shehzad, let me start with you first. The question that's being asked again and again from the Congress Party, you heard Jairam Ramesh, you heard Priyanka Gandhi Vadra a moment ago, is the speed and alacrity with which the Lok Sabha Secretariat and the Speaker's office moved to disqualify Mr. Rahul Gandhi within 24 hours of this verdict. What was the pressing hurry?
I hold no brief for the Speaker. It's an independent institution. But having said that, I hope they would listen to the likes of Kapil Sibal and legal advice that is beneficial. The Lily Thomas case makes it amply clear that a person on conviction, unless the conviction is stayed by a higher court, stands disqualified from the moment of conviction. So there is no discretion with the Speaker. He only notifies the taking place of the disqualification. And it has been done for Suresh Halwankar, BJP MLA, Asha Rani, BJP MLA, Rashid Masood, Congress MP, Lalu Prasad, RJD, Baban Rao Gholap, and a list of other people. Unless Rahul Gandhi feels that he has this entitlement and privilege of belonging to a separate set of monarchic background, that he should be given a different treatment from the law as opposed to these people.
This is the first time that a member of parliament has been disqualified basis a defamation case. All of these cases that you're outlining for us are all corruption cases under PCA or other more stringent provisions. First time a criminal defamation case which has led to the disqualification of a member of parliament.
That factum has absolutely no implication on how Lily Thomas operates. And I wish Anusha, Sonia, somebody was here, she would explain to you that there is absolutely no bearing. If you are convicted for whatever offence 2 years or above, then Lily Thomas kicks in. It's been reiterated by 2018 Supreme Court, which has clearly said that unless the conviction is stayed. Now look at the lies that the Congress party spreads. They said that there is a 30-day stay. That suspension is of the sentence. I told you the other day also. It's not a stay on the conviction.
Yeah.
And secondly, forget me, I am biased, I am BJP. Kapil Sibal, he fought this case. And thirdly, look at the hypocrisy operating at 2 or 3 levels. One, Rahul Gandhi tore up an ordinance which he wanted Lalu Prasad to go to jail, not into parliament. But when he himself gets convicted for 2 years and no relief is given on his conviction, the man doesn't resign himself. This is one set of hypocrisy, and the other set of hypocrisy is that of Mr. Kejriwal. I mean, look at the way in which they were the ones who opposed the 2013 ordinance, then the tearing up of the ordinance, and his tweet says that this is all orchestrated drama by the Congress.
Okay.
And today they stand in solidarity with Rahul Gandhi and the same Congress party against whom they were giving birth to.
Dr. Ajay Kumar, at the end of the day, as Shehzad outlined, there are a number of instances of politicians, MLAs or MPs who've been disqualified basis a conviction sentence of 2 or more years. Why should the law of the land not apply to Mr. Gandhi just as it would apply to you or me or any of these members who were disqualified?
No, the law of the land should apply for the Prime Minister for saying 50 crore girlfriend. Congress ki vidwa. Mr. Amit Shah for saying electric current jo hai, aise daba do ki electric current un log ko lag jaye. So, Zaka, the famous Neil Muller quotation, all the people in the panel would continuously say, and gleefully think about it, that they will also come after you. The time is not very long. They will come after you, because where is the question of even if by the most heinous interpretation of the, you might say that the law should stand as course. So I'm just saying that if Mr. Gandhi is guilty, Anurag Thakur, Goli Malo Saloko, and then, the judge, and no comments in it, but there was if I remember the judgment properly, Delhi High Court, it was said that if something is said with a smile, Goli Malo Saloko is said with a smile, it's absolutely okay, it's kosher. So the debate, I mean, Mr. Poonawal will go into technicalities and say this. The question is, it's like the devil preaching the scriptures. Prime Minister's language, Congress ki vidwa, against Shashi Tharoor, 50 crore girlfriend, Goli Malo Saloko, Parvesh Verma and Anurag Thakur, and you think these are kosher compared with what Mr. Gandhi said? They're absolutely okay. Only benefit is that they put a case in Surat, which they had. I mean, we fundamentally believe that the case itself doesn't have a locus standi, but that's a different issue.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting. Can I ask two very fundamental questions? You had 24 hours to challenge this. None of your lawyers did anything about it. The Speaker's office is saying this is automatic after Lily Thomas' judgment, as Shehzad said. The Speaker's office does not have any discretion or powers to stay this. This is automatic. If a member is convicted for 2 or more years, the disqualification is automatic. You haven't approached a court in the last 24 hours. And more importantly, the way in which you've gone about this case in the Surat court, you've not moved for quashing in a higher court. You have not, Mr. Gandhi has not issued any apology. I mean, if he's saying that this was not intended at the Modi Samaj, this was essentially against Narendra Modi, all he needed to do was to go to court and say that, look, he never wanted to insult the Modi Samaj or Purnesh Modi or anybody else except Narendra Modi. This was a political attack. He didn't say that.
So let me ask you a counter question. Did Mr. Modi insult all the women in this country by saying 50 crore girlfriend? I mean, I just want your opinion on this, or any of the learned speakers. When he said Congress ki vidwa, did he insult all the widows of this country and across the world? And when Goli Maro Saloko, did he insult every person in the minority community? What is your opinion on that? Yeah? Because it's very important for me to get a perspective on what is the issue firstly. The issue is that, you continuously would like to put it on the legal aspect. I'm saying, where is the standards? Please hold the honorable Prime Minister and the leaders of the largest party in the so-called miscalled party in the world. Let them have the same standards. My question is the same standards.
Okay. All right. Shehzad, quick response. I need to open this up to the rest of our panels. Yeah.
No, I would like to have your honored opinion on
that. Sir. Yeah. Who am I to give any opinion? My job is to ask questions.
You've been giving me opinion.
No, I'm not giving you opinion. Sir, I'm asking questions. I may qualified with an opinion, but ultimately I'm asking you a question. So let Shehzad respond.
Let me address that off the bat. First of all, what my opinion or Zaka's opinion or XYZ's opinion doesn't matter. matter, in a court of law, the person has been convicted for something that somebody believed was against the community, and the court of law has adjudged it. If you feel aggrieved by those statements which you've listed, half of them paraphrased wrongly, you are very well entitled, and you're still entitled to go to a court of law and pursue legal remedies. Let me just complete. But there are a couple of points that you're missing. Firstly, Pawan Kheda's case, he gets picked up from the airplane. In 2 hours, you reach the Supreme Court. So yesterday your judgment came, it kicks in automatically, you know that. You still wait and you know that there's a fait accompli that the speaker will notify it. If you have such great lawyers to write for Pawan Kheda today, my question, Zaka, very innocent question, is that who in the Congress wants to shut up Rahul Gandhi? Look, clearly the BJP doesn't want him to shut up. I can assure you of that. We want him that he speaks inside or outside Parliament. Secondly,
just give me
one last line.
Quickly.
The statement made by him was made about all Modis being chores, and Modis come from the Ghanchi OBC community, and it is a statement made against that entire community. The court has held it. You may agree, you may disagree. The court has held it to be true. So rather than brandish this statement that you made against the OBC community, you should be apologizing and you should correct Rahul Gandhi as serial offender.
Let me ask Smita Prakash, what is, one interesting thing that we have seen is this story has become so big that the other opposition members, sometimes who have not been very keen to associate with the Congress or support the Congress, whether it's like Arvind Kejriwal and Akhilesh Yadav, even a Mamata Banerjee today, are coming out and tweeting or saying statements in support of Rahul Gandhi, saying that this is essentially what all opposition leaders have been saying, that democracy is on a backslide in this country and that the government is out to get the opposition, so on and so forth. Do you believe this is temporary, or do you believe that the direction in which this is moving, the rest of the opposition will have no choice but to rally around the Congress party as a fulcrum, because Rahul Gandhi today has become the biggest poster boy, if you will, of this thing that they are claiming the government is doing, which is that they are going after opposition party leaders and democratic backslide and so on?
Zaka, I think it wouldn't have been appropriate for these political parties which you mentioned to not stand by Rahul Gandhi today on this matter. But come elections, there is seat sharing time. There's permutations and combinations which would be a whole different ball game. Then it's a battle, it's a war. Then there's no loyalty or propriety like it is in today's case. In today's case, it's about standing with somebody who they feel has been victimized. So it would seem very odd, because all news channels will go and hold a mic and say, "Aapko kya kehna hai?" And will they say no comment? It would have seemed very wrong. So that's why today that is there. Whether some of them have personal equations with the Gandhi family, with Rahul Gandhi, like Derek O'Brien. So for them, obviously, it's a sentimental issue too. As far as Akhilesh is concerned, he was also close to Rahul Gandhi. So they are standing by him today. But come election time, it's a totally different thing. Okay. As far as today Rahul Gandhi's thing is concerned, whether this is a whole Tyag thing that they're playing out. I'm talking about like his mother, like what she did. I'm not saying that what she did when it was that office for profit case, but when she decided not to take up the post of Prime Minister, and it was Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now that was projected by the Congress as a great sacrifice. We'll never know what led to that decision, but history was written by the Congress. So the presumption is that it was Tyag. Everyone knows that Rahul Gandhi is not very ambitious to be Prime Minister. At least he's not exhibited that. He's not exhibited any very strong political ambition either, other than the Bharat Jodo. So now whether they are going to make a virtue out of what has happened, because Zaka, just a couple of seconds more, in the meeting that just finished right now, and you played that bite of Priyanka Gandhi, it's I believe, according to sources, what she said out there is the way to reply to what has happened today is to win Karnataka. Now that's a sharp reply, because one of the people in that meeting, I believe, said that they should be like Pied Piper. All of them should resign en masse. But she said no. She said win Karnataka, and that will be a reaction. And then you saw the soundbite where she said, we come from a family of martyrs. We have shed blood. That is something more than many of the leaders of all these parties whom you mentioned can say. None of their family members have died or have been assassinated, whereas the Gandhi family has lost, they've had assassinations in their family.
Okay. All right. Okay, fair point. Let me now take the story forward as to what happens next. Of course, Mr. Gandhi is now disqualified as a member of parliament, so all the perks that come with being an MP, that he stands to lose. Also, now all eyes are on the election commission, because what happens to the Wayanad Lok Sabha constituency that he is MP from? Will there be elections to the Wayanad constituency? Remember, the Lok Sabha Secretariat has declared the Wayanad seat is vacant now. Despite just a year left for the next Lok Sabha elections, the Election Commission will have to announce a by-election in Wayanad soon. Now, the Election Commission generally does not hold a by-poll if less than a year is to go for the regular election on that seat. The Lok Sabha elections are due in April-May of 2024. But Section 151A of the Representation of People's Act mandates that no seat can be left vacant for more than 6 months. So, is there a good chance or likelihood that the Election Commission might announce the dates for the Wayanad by-poll along with the dates for the Karnataka election? Aman Sharma is Senior Editor Politics, News 18. He's joining us now. Aman, precedent is one thing, but this, at least the Congress would argue these are extraordinary circumstances. You've not had a Gandhi family member being prosecuted, convicted, and now disqualified as an MP in a defamation case. What is the thinking within the Election Commission? What is the precedent for the Election Commission on whether they will go ahead and declare the by-poll there before Mr. Gandhi has exhausted all his legal redressal options?
See, Zaka, the process has definitely kicked in. After Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been disqualified as an MP, the vacancy is there. Now, what will the EC do? It is EC prerogative to announce a by-poll whenever it does. But as per the rules, as they stand right now, the by-election, it seems the buzz in the political circles is that it will be announced very, very soon, because the precedent is that EC generally does not hold a by-election if less than a year is to go for the regular election to be held. In fact, as per Section 151A of the Representation of People Act, it mandates that if the remainder of the term of a member in relation to a vacancy is 1 year or more, then a by-election can be held. As per, if we go by that calendar, the by-election should be announced soon. But obviously, this will become a big flashpoint between the BJP and the Congress. Already today, Abhishek Manu Singhvi was asked in his press conference that, do you expect the Wayanad by-poll to be announced soon? And his reply was, I won't be surprised. But again, he's questioning the malafide of the whole thing. He's saying you disqualify a person today, you announce a by-poll within a couple of days. So what is this happening? But interestingly, what he also mentioned was the case of the Lakshadweep MP Mohammad Faisal. Lakshadweep MP Mohammad Faisal was also disqualified as an MP in January this year. And Zaka, within 5 days of his disqualification, the EC had announced a by-poll on the Lakshadweep parliamentary seat.
Okay.
But Mr. Faisal went to the High Court and got a stay, and the by-poll was put off. And it stands deferred as of today.
All right. We'll see how this plays out. Thanks very much, Aman, for joining us with your perspective on that story. I think the next needle in this story is what happens to the Wayanad constituency. Will there be a by-poll? If that is declared by the EC, the Karnataka dates, I believe, are expected sometime next week. So if the EC clubs Wayanad by-poll along with Karnataka elections, what will the Congress do? But I want to go across to two guests who haven't spoken yet. Aman Lekhi and Riju Datta. Aman Lekhi first. What is the legal recourse available with Mr. Gandhi? Let's say he approaches the Sessions Court and asks for a stay on conviction. How easy or difficult, A, would it be to get a stay on a conviction? And B, even if he manages that, can he use that as basis to move the Lok Sabha Speaker and ask for a revocation of this disqualification order?
Yes, he has to file an appeal, and once the conviction is stayed, obviously the cause for disqualification disappears. That said, what I want to flag is the haste or alacrity with which the Secretary of the Lok Sabha has actually come up with the notification, because I got an objection in principle to the way this has happened. Technically, as the learned spokesperson of BJP said, that there is no bar, because the disqualification is automatic, and because disqualification is automatic on conviction, the Lok Sabha can come up with a notification. But this is on a very literal reading of the law. And in a case like this, in fact, it has to have a bit of a purposive construction. And why I say so, this is 8 of the Representation of People's Act, under which this happens, has to be read with 102 of the Constitution. The word used is conviction. Now, the question is, once it's conviction, there's a right to appeal. Once there's a right to appeal, the conviction has to be affirmed, or the eviction can be overturned. Now, the question to arise is, at what stage would you actually conclude that the conviction which is mentioned both in 102 and 8 operates? Now, because the right to appeal is existing, and the sentence has been suspended, implicit in which is the fact that the appeal would be filed. Any attempt to preempt the outcome of the proceedings would be transgression into an area which is actually the exclusive domain of the judiciary.
But Mr. Lekhi, the point that's being made by legal experts and by the BJP is that it's only the sentence that's been suspended. It's not the conviction. The conviction stays.
No. That's a different point. You missed the point. The sentence has been suspended, yes. But the question is, the sentence has been suspended pending a right to appeal. That means the right to appeal is guaranteed by law. In appeal, the conviction itself can be suspended, though the sentence has been suspended. Because the conviction can be suspended, and that is a right to appeal which is guaranteed. When Section 8 uses the word conviction, and that is also used insofar as disqualification 102 is concerned, what I feel is that the Secretariat should not be hasty in coming out with this particular notification immediately upon the first court's order, because the first court's order is subject to review in appeal, and that order can be overturned. And this is a question of propriety along with legality and a question of comity of instrumentalities, because you have in one place the undisputed right of the court to examine the order of the first court of the first instance, and of course the obligation of the Secretariat, and of course the further obligation of the Election Commission. But because we are in a legal system and there are responsibilities vested in all, and the fulcrum of which is the rights of the person who is actually affected, the balance itself mandates moderation. Balance mandates moderation insofar as the speed with which the disqualification notice comes has necessarily to be slowed to await the outcome of the appeal, which is implicit in the entire proceedings. So as far as this question, then that will obviate the problem which you are mentioning about the Election Commission notifying. Now, ideally, even the Election Commission should hold its hands, because insofar as this is concerned, it can read an absurd situation, if supposing that's purely theoretical, because things won't move as fast. Because it can very well be possible, if it's allowed to continue, at one point of time, there'll be two claimants to one constituency. Got it. Two claimants to one constituency, it is utter absurdity. And in fact, it's a mockery of the whole
So let me go to Riju Datta, who's been waiting patiently as well. Riju Datta, finally, today we had a tweet from your party leader and Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, saying that this is Tanashai, so on and so forth. What I'm curious to know is, does this give you enough reason to rally around the Congress as the fulcrum of the opposition? Because assuming that Mr. Gandhi is not able to overturn this conviction, or he's not able to get a stay on the conviction, or a higher court is not overturning this order, he cannot contest 2024, which means 2024 will not be Modi versus Rahul. It has to be Modi versus who, ? One of whom could be potentially your leader, Mamata Banerjee. The field, as they say, is open.
Zaka, first of all, to start off with, I believe, we condemn, the party, Trinamool Congress condemns this disqualification of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, because we believe that whatever has been happening in the parliament for the last month in this session, it is a clear case of political vendetta, and it is a ploy of the BJP to choke the voice of the opposition. We cannot talk about the democracy, but the democracy clearly is in tatters. And you talk about Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. I personally believe it was never Rahul Gandhi versus Mr. Modi. It was somebody else from the Congress right from the very beginning. But okay, that does not make
No, but Riju, can I ask you, all this while when Parliament was in session, your party was not seen with the wider opposition. You didn't take out marches to Vijay Chowk and to the ED office and CBI office. The letter that was written, I think, to the CBI and ED directors, the TMC was not part of it. What's made you now sort of come around?
Listen, I'll be very clear. The opposition and the Trinamool Congress has always been united. That's why when 14 opposition parties file a case in the Supreme Court against the excessive use of central agencies of the opposition, TMC is a part of that. But coming to this particular thing, we are not saying that we are tying up with the Congress for 2024. No way. But what we are saying is that what is wrong is wrong. And the way BJP has disqualified Rahul Gandhi is absolutely wrong. And they are trying to set another precedence, like the washing machine precedence, that if you go against us, if you talk against us, we can disqualify you from the parliament as well.
Okay, so Shehzad, the point again, Congress is also saying this, other opposition parties are also saying this. They are all linking this to the Adani JPC, which the government is loath to form. They're saying all of this has come back to haunt Mr. Gandhi because he spoke against the Prime Minister, he spoke against Adani in Parliament, and therefore this is payback.
Okay, so let me start with the third point first and then address the political point and the legal point by Senior Advocate Aman Lekhi ji. Firstly, let's assume that this is about Adani. Are you implying that the courts, the Surat court, wanted to save us politically and therefore came up with a verdict, because
No,
that
you
is,
heard what Jairam Ramesh today said. He
I
said
keep hearing Jairam
Yeah.
Ramesh coaching all kinds of people. I don't take him very seriously, frankly.
The proceedings, he claims...
He was Smita's opening on the podcast, but I don't take him that seriously.
No. Let me just say what he said. He said in that press conference that the proceedings in this case immediately started reviving.
I know what he said.
A week after Mr. Rahul Gandhi said what he said in Parliament.
I don't even need to answer that charge, because that is a charge not made at the BJP. It is made directly at the majesty of the court, and maybe if the court feels right, they could haul him up for contempt, because if he's implying that the courts are fighting our political battles, then he's walking down a very slippery slope, and it can't be conditional commitment to the constitution. Point number 2, let me come to the vendetta point of Riju Datta. You know, Riju Datta's relationship and TMC's relationship with the Congress can be best categorized, and I hope you won't interrupt me or feel bad, as friends with benefits. That's what it is, frankly. Let's just leave it at that, and let me come to the larger point that Aman Lekhi ji, with all due respect, and he's senior at the bar compared to me, he has more intellect and more understanding of the law, but let me give him 2 scenarios. One is a scenario where an institution or an authority makes an objective literal reading of the law, or the second one which he proposes is to have a more subjective interpretation of a statute or a law, which I think then runs down to a slippery slope. The institution has followed an objective parameter of reading the law literally, because the person aggrieved always has, like Mohammed Faisal, an opportunity to go to a higher court and get the conviction stayed. And
but Rahul Gandhi and the Congress's contention is you're not giving him that opportunity to appeal. And that's what Mr. Lekhi is also saying. By disqualifying him, you're denying him that opportunity.
Mr. Lekhi has said no such thing. Mr. Lekhi will answer what he has said, but Mr. Lekhi has only said this. He has said that the authority of the speaker should not have shown the haste in doing what it did, because it should have built in a appeal method in the conviction. I am saying to Mr. Lekhi very categorically that I don't think institutions should have the leeway to apply their subjective interpretations to any literal statute, because when you read the law, we are trained as lawyers to read it as a reasonable person would do literally and come up to a conclusion. That's how the objectivity platform is created. If I start putting my subjective interpretations, that's running down a slippery slope, and if they have a problem, they can appeal to, let's assume, one last point. Let's assume that what Aman Lekhi ji is saying, that the speaker has acted in haste. They have a right to recourse by going to a higher court. They can go and challenge it. As of today, they could have challenged it. They could challenge it tomorrow. Why don't they do it?
Okay, so let me ask Dr. Ajay Kumar. Again, I'm coming back to, what we heard from Dr. Singhvi earlier, Jairam Ramesh earlier, is that this case suddenly sort of got wind after Mr. Gandhi said what he said in Parliament. Now, my point is, are you attributing motives to the judge and to this judgment? Number 2, I mean, this was a case that was filed in 2019 from the Lok Sabha campaign of 2019. A verdict has now been delivered in 2023. Surely what Mr. Gandhi said a month ago cannot have bearing on a case that's been going on for the last 4 years. So where is this coming from? And to say that the complainant went to the High Court asking for a stay, that's his prerogative. And if the High Court has given him a stay, then again, are you attributing motives to the High Court?
They got an opportunity there.
So let him respond.
So let me first answer Mr. Poonawala's newfound love for the judicial system is quite hilarious, because the Home Minister of India said to the Supreme Court on the judgment of the Kerala judgment, was that the Supreme Court should not pass any order if it is difficult to enforce. Okay, so sudden preaching of this Bharatiya Janata Party going overboard and saying we believe in judge. I mean, you have the Home Minister threatening the Supreme Court in the temple case and saying that to implement the case with Kerala, Guruvayur temple case, which was and it's recorded all over. So unless all the newspapers quoted the Home Minister very long, he advised the Supreme Court or told the Supreme Court, and suddenly the BJP wants to preach, so it's again, like yesterday I said, it's the devil preaching the scriptures. Look, on the legal aspect, the brief which we have been saying it across as a Congress party is what very similar to what Aman Lekhi ji is saying. Now the fact is, why are all opposition leaders speaking? It's not the question of alliance or not the alliance. That will happen. Are they bringing the opposition closer together? That's for us to see later. The question is, Zaka, you must be asking the same question. Every Indian who is a responsible Indian must see the seeds of of pure pushing rules of law against, and today it seems to be Rahul Gandhi, it seems to Mr. Gandhi,
Okay.
it seems to be the Congress. Tomorrow, like Kappan gets arrested for something, you will also. Tomorrow, as long as you're in CNN and IBN and everything, you're speaking the right stuff, it may be okay, but tomorrow they just get offended for something so small and send you, and there'll be nobody around to even speak for it. And I'm saying it with great responsibility. No, one sec.
Okay.
Let me complete. Again, sir, let me complete. I'm saying that every right-minded person, they are our political opponents, no problem. We will fight them politically. But look at this country where you have the Prime Minister saying 50 crore girlfriend. Where he says Congress ki vidwa. Where he says Goli maro salo ko. And we say that, look, Mr. Gandhi's defamation case, I mean, it's the judge's court has passed it.
All right.
And everything is okay.
One line. Yeah.
My newfound love for the judiciary notwithstanding, I don't need lectures from a person who actually superseded Mr. Khanna with Mr. Ray and run roughshod with judges like Mr. Beg and Barul Islam, who were sometimes MPs and sometimes judges, and who had committed judiciary as a formula in 1975, advising me about judiciary.
I have to pause for a moment because Mahesh Jethmalani, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, is also joining us. Mahesh, thanks very much for speaking with us. The question, first of all, let's deal with the legal aspect first. What Mr. Rahul Gandhi, his lawyers, you heard from Abhishek Manu Singhvi, we'll be playing that interview out in the latter part of the program as well. They are saying it is not up to the Speaker or the Lok Sabha Secretariat to sort of ad nauseum, almost automatically disqualify Mr. Gandhi, especially more so because the sentence itself was suspended. The court has given him an opportunity to appeal. Why don't you allow that legal process to go through, and then the Speaker decides what to do with the disqualification?
Well, you know, Zaka, all I can say is I read a judgment of a Supreme Court as per its plain language and its plain meaning. The Supreme Court has said that the moment an order of conviction and sentence of 2 years or more comes in, the MP or the MLA concerned stands automatically disqualified. It's by way of operation of law. There is not, you can't, these people keep on attaching, malefides to everybody. I mean, the Speaker is only, once this happens, the Speaker has to be notified about the judgment, and he doesn't have any discretion left. This happens because of the disqualification happens because of a court order. The court order of conviction, if it contains those parameters of a conviction and a 2 years plus sentence, that's the end of the matter. You stand disqualified.
But Mahesh,
the question
tell
of
me,
alleging malefides and all that.
Fair enough.
I mean, they're just politicizing and destroying every institution. I tell you, their comprehension is extremely poor.
But tell me, you've been in politics also now. You've been in law for the last 40 years. When have we had a member of parliament being disqualified from the House for a matter of criminal defamation? There are a number of instances of, Prevention of Corruption Act or other heinous crimes for which MPs and MLAs have lost their membership. But for the first time, for a defamation case, a member of parliament is being disqualified.
Yeah. Now, if you're telling me that the law needs changing, perhaps it does. I mean, I agree with you. I may agree with you on that. But the law as it is mandates a disqualification. Right now, we can't go into why didn't anybody think about it before?
Okay.
Why wasn't Rahul Gandhi and his entire band of loyal congressmen who, are putting Humpty Dumpty up to again? Why didn't they think about this all the time? Why ex post facto? Don't they have concern for the law generally and for the public at large? Or it's only when it comes to their leader, they suddenly get these, pangs of legal illumination.
No, but I believe this matter on the issue of, reading down criminal defamation. It had gone to the Supreme Court. I believe Subramaniam Swamy was the original petitioner. Mr. Kejriwal kind of implemented himself in it. And I believe so did Rahul Gandhi. And the court said no. Is it convenient for the state, irrespective of whichever political party is in power? I mean, the Congress, went on 66A. So irrespective of whichever political party is in power, is it convenient for the state to have criminal defamation on the statutory books? Because it gives them a stick.
Well, I'm against the law on criminal defamation. I don't think defamation should be a crime. I don't think so. But the fact of the matter is that this is now trodden ground. We've been there before. The judiciary has spoken. If anything, now it's up to the legislature.
Okay.
Why didn't the Congress insist on this? Introduce a private members bill, or when they were in power in 2013, try and amend it. And by the way, Zaka, in 2013, the Prime Minister, hats off to him, Dr. Manmohan Singh, did in fact envision that this will create a problem. This is excessive perhaps. But Rahul Gandhi tore that ordinance up. Who is to blame?
Yeah.
He's hoisted by his own petard, his own petulance, his own arrogance.
No, you're right. A lot of people are pointing out that irony.
No sympathy for Rahul Gandhi in this matter.
Had that ordinance been passed, perhaps Rahul Gandhi would not be in the position that he's in today. I want one final word from you before I go back to our panelists, and that is, now that he has the opportunity to go to court, and, let's say he can't do that in the next few days, if the court does not come to a conclusion, either putting a stay on the conviction or overturning the order in the next few days. And if the Election Commission were to announce by-poll dates for the Wayanad constituency, we had Aman Lekhi on the broadcast just a moment ago saying that, you'll have this bizarre situation where you'll have two claimants, an existing MP who's been disqualified, whose matter is under challenge, and you will have other, members who would want to throw their hat in the ring for a by-election. I mean, that's a peculiar situation.
Yeah, but if he doesn't get a stay on the conviction, which is the only ground on which he can get his disqualification turned around, right? Then the election has to be held because you owe it to the constituency. You owe it to the constituency to have an MP.
All right.
And then until he gets it set aside, let's say he doesn't get the interim order of a stay, then he has to strive to get the conviction set aside. He has to strive to get the conviction set aside. Otherwise, he misses the bus for the next election. Forget the by-election.
Okay.
Then he's disqualified for 6 years after that.
Correct. Okay. All right. Mahesh, as always, a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. Mahesh Jethmalani, the senior advocate of the Supreme Court. I want to go to Smita Prakash back on the political question. And, what the opposition is again saying is this plays straight into the narrative that the Congress, Mr. Gandhi, all other opposition leaders have been saying that, and this is what they've been saying, that the New York Times has been writing about it and Washington Post has been writing about it. I think the New York Times piece on Mr. Gandhi's disqualification basically says the lone last man politician standing against Narendra Modi has been disqualified in what is a blow to India's democracy. So it kind of, again, puts paid to that same narrative that we are seeing opposition leaders are saying and some of these Western press are saying. So again, the question that's being asked of the government is, there must be some truth to it.
Well, as far as the New York Times is concerned, it's the typical myopic vision about Indian democracy. And this is something that I've seen this, and I think you would have seen it too, whenever it is Indira Gandhi, they say, oh, democracy is going to die now because Indira Gandhi has died now. When Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated, it was the same thing. Plethora of these foreign journalists descended upon Delhi because they thought that because Rajiv Gandhi is dead, there'll be blood spilled all across India and there'll be riots all over again like it was during Indira Gandhi's time. So now it is another person from the Gandhi family who's been disqualified. So they think that, it is a political assassination of sorts. So I don't even want to get into what the foreign media has to say. As far as the Indian aspect is concerned, I think Mahesh Jethmalani is right. It's everybody's flummoxed as to why, there are these legal luminaries in the Congress. Why didn't they do what they had to do? So on the face value, it seems like obviously they didn't take it seriously enough. I repeat that on the face value, Zaka, I feel that they didn't take it seriously enough because was it strategy to allow this to happen or was it oversight? Did they think that, that the BJP wouldn't dare disqualify Rahul Gandhi? I mean, it all seems a little bizarre, and even when you put out that audio saying Rahul Gandhi is no longer member of parliament, that itself sounds a little bizarre. But now the game is wide open for 2024 for the opposition. Zaka, just one more point is, a few weeks back, there was some politician who said that Rahul Gandhi should now play the role of a JP kind of a figure. At that time, everybody found it funny that, here is this man who's walking thousands of kilometers. Why would he give up the dream to become Prime Minister and become a JP kind of a figure? But now when you think of it, that maybe that might happen. he might just set aside, becoming the Prime Minister kind of a candidate, or it won't be Modi versus Rahul, which you were just putting. He might just take a back seat and allow everybody else to contest and see what happens.
Okay, that by perforce might have to happen, because like Mahesh also was saying, if he doesn't manage to overturn the verdict, overturn the conviction, then he stands disqualified for not just the 2-year term of the jail sentence, but also for a further 6 years. Which, like Smita said, leaves the field open for 2024. It certainly won't be Modi versus Rahul. Modi versus who is the question? Is it Mamata Banerjee? Is it Arvind Kejriwal? Is it Sonia Gandhi back again? Who knows? But we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests. We'll see how this story plays out. On the other side, one of the Congress's top legal eagles, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and I'll ask him this specific question. Why didn't the Congress's lawyers advise Mr. Gandhi either to seek a quashing of this matter or to simply issue a clarification in court that he didn't intend to insult an entire community, but this was meant for one specific individual? As a result of which, today Mr. Gandhi finds himself facing a 2-year jail term and also has lost his parliamentary membership. Quick break, that interview on the other side.
राइजिंग इंडिया का मेरे लिए मतलब है देश के 125 करोड़ लोगों के स्वाभिमान का राइज होना, देश के आत्मगौरव का राइज होना। आज पूरा विश्व भारत के इस उदय को, राइजिंग इंडिया को मान दे रहा है, सम्मान दे रहा है। ये राइजिंग इंडिया की एक ऐसी तस्वीर है जिस पर हर हिंदुस्तानी को गर्व होगा।
Poonawalla FinCorp presents News 18 Rising India Real Heroes. 29th and 30th March on News 18 Network. Presented by Poonawalla FinCorp Limited, enabling dreams.
Okay.
So they've gone there.
All right, joining us now is one of the top legal eagles of the Congress party, Supreme Court lawyer and member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. You held an elaborate press conference today as well as yesterday. The order by the Lok Sabha Secretariat to disqualify Mr. Gandhi as member of parliament. You are questioning the alacrity, the speed with which this order has come. But what the Speaker's office and what the Lok Sabha Secretariat are saying is that this is an automatic disqualification, because after the 2013 Lily Thomas judgment, any member of parliament who's convicted for 2 years or more automatically loses his or her membership.
I am not questioning merely the alacrity. I am giving you several facets. The first and the largest facet which I have taken up today and partly yesterday is that it is not a legal issue, it's a political issue. There is, according to us, a systematic emasculation of democratic institutions, democratic spirit, and therefore of democracy itself by this government. As I said, freedom of speech has been imperiled, freedom after speech has been more imperiled by a series of intimidatory tactics, coercive criminal steps. First and foremost, see that larger political perspective. Rahul Gandhi speaks without fear, a very, very great candor. He speaks on economics, politics. He criticizes, he talks of demonetization, GST, and he goes abroad, he comes back, and they say you can't come to parliament till you apologize on fake notions of fake nationalism, pretended nationalism, artificial created nationalism. He goes into parliament and speaks on the day the Prime Minister speaks, and he's referred to Privileges Committee. Has it happened in all these decades of parliamentary democracy that parliamentarians who have an additional right of free speech beyond 19(1)(a) are intimidated in this way? See that larger perspective. Okay. He comes out, and for the first time in the history I've never seen, the ruling party says this parliament will not go on unless a prior condition preceded of him apologizing. So I think this has never happened, and this is nothing but another attempt in the chain. Now I want to tell you something interesting about the sequence of events in this proceeding which led to the conviction yesterday. The complaint is of 2019, and Rahul Gandhi goes and appears in person in Surat in June 2021. There is a different magistrate then. Okay. The magistrate is changed in 2022. Meanwhile, the complainant has already gone to the High Court and sought a stay of his own complaint, and that is pending from early March 22 all the way to this year, February 23. The complainant is not interested in the complaint. Rahul Gandhi gives a speech, the famous or infamous speech, on 7th of February, a fiery speech criticizing the conduct of this government. 7th of February 23, and that complainant suddenly lands up in the High Court and says, I want to withdraw my own stay against my own complaint, I want the trial to start immediately. On 16th February, 9 days after 7th February, the stay from the High Court is withdrawn by that complainant, and the matter is resumed on 27th February, and lo and behold, judgment comes on 23rd March. So all of it happens in less than about a month and a half after that speech. Before that, it's been lying quiet at the complainant's instance for 1 year.
No,
the matter Rahul Gandhi speaks about is in Kolar, Karnataka. The magistrate is obliged to have an inquiry under a section called 202 because he is in Surat. He has to have a territorial inquiry. He doesn't do it. The argument is taken, noted. He doesn't do it.
No, so Dr. Singhvi, the BJP is just holding a press conference. In fact, we were on it just now, where they are saying that this is attack against an entire community, that you're attacking the OBC Samaj, you're attacking the Modi Samaj. Politically speaking, how does the Congress party and how do you respond to that? Because it's not just one individual who Rahul Gandhi has allegedly insulted, but the entire community, a backward caste community.
He named 3 persons in that objectionable statement, which is the subject matter of defamation. None of those 3 people are complainants.
Okay.
Different people with the same surname are set up in Bihar, Ranchi and Surat to file complaints. He did not say that everybody with that surname is a thief. He said that the names I am taking, because the scams I am mentioning, comprise thieves.
Joining us now is one of the top legal eagles of the Congress party, Supreme Court lawyer and Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. You held an elaborate press conference today as well as yesterday. The order by the Lok Sabha Secretariat to disqualify Mr. Gandhi as Member of Parliament, you are questioning the alacrity, the speed with which this order has come. But what the Speaker's office and what the Lok Sabha Secretariat are saying is that this is an automatic disqualification because after the 2013 Lily Thomas judgment, any Member of Parliament who's convicted for 2 years or more automatically loses his or her membership.
I am not questioning merely the alacrity. I am giving you several facets. The first and the largest facet which I have taken up today and partly yesterday is that it is not a legal issue, it's a political issue. There is, according to us, a systematic emasculation of democratic institutions, democratic spirit, and therefore of democracy itself by this government. As I said, freedom of speech has been imperiled, freedom after speech has been more imperiled by a series of intimidatory tactics, coercive criminal steps. First and foremost, see that larger political perspective. Rahul Gandhi speaks without fear, a very, very great candor. He speaks on economics, politics. He criticizes, he talks of demonetization, GST, and he goes abroad, he comes back, and they say you can't come to Parliament till you apologize on fake notions of fake nationalism, pretended nationalism, artificial created nationalism. He goes into Parliament and speaks on the day the Prime Minister speaks, and he's referred to Privileges Committee. Has it happened in all these decades of parliamentary democracy that parliamentarians who have an additional right of free speech beyond 19(1)(a) are intimidated in this way? See that larger perspective. Okay. He comes out, and for the first time in the history I've never seen, the ruling party says this parliament will not go on unless a prior condition preceded of him apologizing. So I think this has never happened, and this is nothing but another attempt in the chain. Now I want to tell you something interesting about the sequence of events in this proceeding which led to the conviction yesterday. The complaint is of 2019, and Rahul Gandhi goes and appears in person in Surat in June 2021. There is a different magistrate then.
Okay.
The magistrate is changed in 2022. Meanwhile, the complainant has already gone to the High Court and sought a stay of his own complaint. And that is pending from early March 22 all the way to this year, February 23. The complainant is not interested in the complaint. Rahul Gandhi gives a speech, the famous or infamous speech, on 7th of February, a fiery speech criticizing the conduct of this government. 7th of February 23. And that complainant suddenly lands up in the High Court and says, I want to withdraw my own stay against my own complaint. I want the trial to start immediately. On 16th February, 9 days after 7th February, the stay from the High Court is withdrawn by that complainant. And the matter is resumed on 27th February. And lo and behold, judgment comes on 23rd March. So all of it happens in less than about a month and a half. After that speech, before that it's being lying quiet at the complainant's instance for 1 year.
No,
The matter Rahul Gandhi speaks about is in Kolar, Karnataka. The magistrate is obliged to have an inquiry under a section called 202 because he is in Surat. He has to have a territorial inquiry. He doesn't do it. The argument is taken, noted. He doesn't do it.
No, so Dr. Singhvi, the BJP is just holding a press conference. In fact, we were on it just now, where they are saying that this is attack against an entire community, that you're attacking the OBC Samaj, you're attacking the Modi Samaj. Politically speaking, how does the Congress party and how do you respond to that? Because it's not just one individual who Rahul Gandhi has allegedly insulted, but the entire community, a backward caste community.
He named 3 persons in that objectionable statement, which is the subject matter of defamation. None of those 3 people are complainants.
Okay.
Different people with the same surname are set up in Bihar, Ranchi and Surat to file complaints. He did not say that everybody with that surname is a thief. He said that the names I am taking, because the scams I am mentioning, comprise thieves. He said something different. These are set up complaints in a bizarre sense. And complainants are set up. The complainant is happy and sleeping and getting a stay of his own complaint, and suddenly he wakes up and fast tracks it. And no inquiry is done about territorial jurisdiction. This is an absolutely amazing, unprecedented conviction. It has no legs to stand on, and we are confident we'll get a stay of conviction.
So what is your next step going to be legally? Are you going to move the Sessions Court asking for a stay on conviction? Are you going to move the Supreme Court? What is your next legal step?
Absolutely. Stay of conviction is a vital condition precedent. It is the most necessary thing. And, it takes some time to draft, to meet your lawyers, to file. This is hardly 24 hours ago this has happened.
Okay.
So they've gone there.
All right. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely amazing, unprecedented conviction. It has no legs to stand on, and we are confident we'll get a stay of conviction.
So what is your next step going to be legally? Are you going to move the Sessions Court asking for a stay on conviction? Are you going to move the Supreme Court? What is your next legal step?
Absolutely. Stay of conviction is a vital condition precedent. It is the most necessary thing. And, it takes some time to draft, to meet your lawyers, to file. This is hardly 24 hours ago this has happened.
Okay.
So they've gone there.
All right, joining us now is one of the top legal eagles of the Congress party, Supreme Court lawyer and member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. You held an elaborate press conference today as well as yesterday. The order by the Lok Sabha Secretariat to disqualify Mr. Gandhi as member of parliament. You are questioning the alacrity, the speed with which this order has come. But what the Speaker's office and what the Lok Sabha Secretariat are saying is that this is an automatic disqualification because after the 2013 Lily Thomas judgment, any member of parliament who's convicted for 2 years or more automatically loses his or her membership.
I am not questioning merely the alacrity. I am giving you several facets. The first and the largest facet which I have taken up today and partly yesterday is that it is not a legal issue, it's a political issue. There is, according to us, a systematic emasculation of democratic institutions, democratic spirit, and therefore of democracy itself by this government. As I said, freedom of speech has been imperiled, freedom after speech has been more imperiled by a series of intimidatory tactics, coercive criminal steps. First and foremost, see that larger political perspective. Rahul Gandhi speaks without fear, a very, very great candor. He speaks on economics, politics. He criticizes, he talks of demonetization, GST, and he goes abroad, he comes back, and they say you can't come to parliament till you apologize on fake notions of fake nationalism, pretended nationalism, artificial created nationalism. He goes into parliament and speaks on the day the Prime Minister speaks, and he's referred to Privileges Committee. Has it happened in all these decades of parliamentary democracy?
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Indian politics saw a Friday blockbuster today with the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi as a member of parliament. But that's not our top story. We want to focus on India's crackdown on Khalistanis. A case has been filed against those who attacked the Indian mission in London. A case has been filed against them in New Delhi. It's perhaps the first of its kind move. Meanwhile, the tech world is in turmoil. Tens of thousands of jobs are being lost. We'll bring you a special report on the great layoff. Another truce in West Asia without America's involvement. Saudi Arabia and Syria are restoring ties. Russia is brokering the deal and the US is being further marginalized. In France, the protests have turned violent. Public fury has led to fires. The King of Britain has had to reschedule his trip after protesters refused to give red carpets for his welcome. We also have an exclusive interview on the show. The President of Malawi will talk about the longest storm ever in recorded history. It has hit his country. And cleanfluencers are sweeping the internet. We'll discuss why they're such a big hit. The headlines first. More turmoil in the banking sector. Deutsche Bank shares plunge, falling by more than 13%, fueling concerns about the stability of European banks. In India, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has been disqualified as a member of parliament. This comes a day after he was convicted in a defamation case over Prime Minister Modi's surname. Is the Israeli Prime Minister facing revolt from within his coalition? Benjamin Netanyahu summons his defense minister after reports say that the minister wants to halt the PM's judicial reform. Pakistan's defense minister slams Imran Khan for his hypocrisy over the US. This is after reports say that the PTI has hired a US lobbying firm. Remember, Imran Khan had blamed a US conspiracy for his ouster from office. And Denmark invites Russia-controlled Nord Stream operator to help recover a mystery object. It was President Putin who revealed its discovery earlier this month. Parts of the pipeline were sabotaged 6 months ago. Now, India has taken a major step to crack down on the Khalistanis. Police in New Delhi have booked Khalistanis in London for terrorism. They are the ones who attacked the Indian High Commission in London this week. While the Rishi Sunak government promised action, the Modi government does not seem to be in the mood to wait and watch. So the Khalistani mob, which attacked India's London mission last weekend, has been charged under 2 Indian laws: the Prevention of Damage to Public Property Act and the far more serious one called UAPA, the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Now, UAPA allows India to imprison individuals without trial or bail. The Delhi police, who brought these terror charges against the Khalistani attackers, report to India's Ministry of Home Affairs. And the Home Ministry gave the nod after consulting with the External Affairs Ministry. So how can India slap a terror case on Khalistanis living in London? That's because these individuals are Indian nationals. So cases have been filed. Now what happens next? Can these Khalistani attackers be brought to India and tried here? That's what New Delhi plans to do. The Modi government has asked the UK to deport these individuals.
We expect that host governments will take action to identify and prosecute all those involved, and also take necessary measures to prevent the recurrence of such incidents. We would hope host governments provide full and adequate protection to our missions as well as to the personnel working there. We are not interested in just assurances. I think we would like to see action.
Remember, the attackers were all caught on camera. They've now been identified. They have Indian passports, have even been seeking asylum in the UK. They claim they're facing political persecution in India.